Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. I'm just going to read something from Art and Fear, and that is by David Bayles. That was a book recommendation from Karen. Her channel is The Meaning Code. If you have not checked that out, I highly recommend it. It is wonderful. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. This is going to be a very short video, and I'm opening up on the chapter that is called Fears About Yourself. And underneath that there's a little quote, and it says, "We have met the enemy and he is us." And that is by Pogo. Ahead lies a broad expanse of river, flowing rapidly. The oarsman, only recently learning his skill, nervously maneuvers to avoid the one and only rock, breaking the surface downstream, dead center, smooth current to either side. You watch from shore. The oarsman zigs left, zigs right, and then crashes directly into the rock. When you act out of fear, your fears come true. Fears about art making fall into two families: fears about yourself and fears about your reception by others. In a general way, fears about yourself prevent you from doing your best work, while fears about your reception by others prevent you from doing your own work. Both families surface in many forms, some of which you may find all too familiar. Try this sampler. The fear that you're only pretending to do art. That doesn't sound right. The fear that you're only pretending to do art is the readily predictable consequence of doubting your own artistic credentials. After all, you know better than anyone else the accidental nature of much that appears in your art, not to mention all those elements you know originated with others, and even some you have never intended, but which the audience has to read into your work. From there, it's only a short hop to feeling like you're just going through the motions of being an artist. It's easy to imagine that real artists know what they're doing, and that they, unlike you, are entitled to feel good about themselves and their art. Fear that you are not a real artist causes you to undervalue your work. That's pretty profound. Fear that you are not a real artist causes you to undervalue your work. The chasm widens even further when your work isn't going well, when happy accidents aren't happening or hunches aren't paying off. If you buy into the premise that art can be made only by people who are extraordinary, such down periods only serve to confirm that you aren't. Before chucking it all for a day job, however, consider the dynamics at work here. Both making art and viewing art require an ongoing investment of energy, lots of energy. In moments of weakness, the myth of the extraordinary provides the excuse for the artist to quit trying to make art, and the excuse for the viewer to quit trying to understand it. Meanwhile, artists who do continue often become perilously self-conscious about their art making. If you doubt this could be a problem, just try working intuitively or spontaneously whilst self-consciously weighing the effect of your every action. The increasing prevalence of reflexive art that looks inward, taking itself as its subject, may to some degree simply illustrate attempts by the artist to turn this obstacle to their advantage. Art that's about art has in turn spawned a whole school of art criticism built around the demonstrably true but limited premise that artists continually redefine art through their work. This approach treats what art is as a legitimate, serious, and even thorny topic, but expands little energy on the question of what art making is. Clearly, some things come unbalanced here. After all, if there were only some ongoing redefinition of what chess is, you'd probably feel a little uneasy trying to play chess. Of course, you could always stick with the game by limiting yourself to a few easy moves you've seen work for others. Then again, you might conclude that since you weren't sure of yourself what chess was, you weren't a real chess player and you were only faking it when you moved the pieces around. You might secretly come to believe that you deserve to lose. In fact, you might even quit playing entirely. If the preceding scenario sounds far-fetched, let's skip that part. But while you may feel you're just pretending that you're an artist, there's no way to pretend you're making art. Go ahead, try writing a story whilst pretending you're writing a story. Not possible. Challenge. Your work may not be what curators want to exhibit or publishers want to publish, but those are different issues entirely. You make good work by, among other things, making lots of work that isn't very good and gradually weeding out the parts that aren't good and the parts that aren't yours. It's called feedback, and it's the most direct route to learning about your own vision. It's also called doing your work. After all, someone has to do your work, and you're the closest person around. And that's where it ends. I will see you next time.